All right, so Jody, why don't we jump right into it? So, give the audience maybe just a little context of where do you sell real estate and how long you've been in the business?
I sell real estate in the upstate of South Carolina. That includes Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson. I've been in the business. I was licensed in 2000 and really been doing a lot of real estate in the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And so in 2023, how many deals did you do?
100.
100. Okay, was that the first year that you hit 100 or had you been doing that for a couple of years?
A few years. I think the highest I had was 126 the year before that was like 110. So I guess the last 3 years, I think I was like 98 before that. So I've been very close to that the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the goal for 2024 is how many deals?
150.
150. All right. So this
Uh,
will potentially we're fighting for the best year of your career.
yeah.
And in your market, I mean, 150 deals will represent how much in total commission, roughly?
I'm usually about $6,000 averaging per deal. So it's that would come up to 900,000. My hope is I'm increasing that also this year. So I want to be over a million, maybe 1.1 is the goal.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good. So what I'd love to do, and thank you for that, is kind of break down the business and where you're finding some success. And so let's first off talk about what is the structure of your business. Are you a solo agent? Do you have a team? Do you have assistants? What does that makeup look like?
I have assistants. I have my own company. I'm on my own, and I'm pretty much the primary agent. I've got some other agents that are buyer agents with my company, and then I've got an assistant that handles the closing coordinator, anything else, any admin that I may need.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
So that's a great structure, right? So you're an entrepreneur who
right,
runs and operates your own company, and so that company is how you transact business. You don't work for a brokerage. You have your own company. So it makes a
right.
ton of sense. So when we break down lead generation, let's get into that a little bit.
Okay,
Where does most of your business come from?
mostly expires.
Mostly expires. Okay.
Right.
So are you doing anything with past clients or centers of influence?
I need to do more. I've had a lot of past client business, but it hasn't been something I've been working on enough. It's just been naturally coming back to me from past clients that I somewhat stay in touch with, but that's something I'm trying to improve through this coaching program also.
Yeah. And that's funny you bring that up, and I'm going to come back to your business in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing 100 deals or thereabouts for quite some time. What
Right.
made you, which puts you in the top 1% of our industry, and even though you made a decision to get into coaching, what made you say to yourself, okay, well, I've got more to learn? Because a lot of people in this business, as you know, they have a big ego, right? I know it all, especially people that are selling 100, 150 homes a year. But you said to yourself, I've got more to learn. What made you get into coaching?
Several things. There's appointments I go on that I should get that I'm not getting, or I don't have complete control where we may go on the market at a higher price or something that I'm not really wanting. So I was listening to you on actually YouTube podcasts and stuff. I realized through your approach, I would have more control. I could. I love the listing presentation, so that's what I was shooting for is to really get more of the listings that I go on, more of the listings that I want. Another thing was I wasn't really. I was just calling. If I got the appointment, great. If I didn't, I moved on. I wasn't building a pipeline. I didn't have very good lead generation. That's another thing that was real important to me. Um, Last year, I think market wise, it seemed like everybody was down.
Yeah.
But to me, that got me thinking. I think I was down maybe 30% last year, but 25. It made me think, well, what do I need to do to improve that so I'm growing every year and not having a year that it really bothered me that the business went down. I don't think it was the market. I think some of it was me. And so that's what made me come to the coaching program to try to get that back going again and in a better way.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. So
Yeah.
going back to the business, you have pretty much an outbound prospecting business model, right? You're not
Yes,
buying leads or doing mass mailers or farming a neighborhood. Most of yours is through outbound prospecting via the phone. Is that right?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if we can, Jody, why don't we break down kind of what that looks like in more detail? How much
Okay.
prospecting are you typically doing on a day-to-day basis?
Typically about 2 hours a day
Two
in the
hours a day.
morning, 8 to 10. There's some mornings that may be a little bit less. Some mornings I'll go to 11 or 12. On the marathon you had, I hit it hard for 2 whole days, had a great time. I enjoyed that. But I would like to increase it, but right now it's about two.
2 hours a day. Okay. And
Right.
then once you're done with that 2 hours of proactive prospecting, what does the
Right.
rest of the day typically look like?
Usually I have some appointments in the afternoon. I, I'm on a my schedule's pretty good. I start at 8. I get to the office about 7. I start prospecting at 8. I kind of follow up on everything, 10 to 12, take a lunch. And then it's pretty much getting ready for the afternoon and hitting those appointments. If for some reason I don't have a busy day or not a lot of appointments, sometimes I'll come back to, sending out, maybe some letters, just trying to increase the prospecting in the evening. But I don't do that a whole lot, but every now and then I will.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the biggest, I think, challenges for agents when they start prospecting, especially when they're going after expireds, is, they can't get them on the phone. They can't even touch base with them, let alone try to set appointments. What
Right.
tools or resources are you finding the most success with as far as where you're getting your data, where you're getting your leads? What are you doing to increase contact rates?
I've actually just switched to Vulcan 7 from another platform that I had that really wasn't working that well. My numbers are better now. Using Forewarn, getting better numbers. My business has increased this year basically for some better numbers, a lot. And I'm calling these expireds not just once. And I've heard this several times on your program. I mean, when you said it takes 10 or 12 times sometimes, I start out kind of calling every day, and then I may widen that a little bit to every other day or every week. But I really don't stop calling that expired listing till it goes back on the market, or they tell me just, it turns out not to be a good lead. But
Sure.
I think the persistence has helped me more than anything.
Yeah. And how many contacts are you typically having in your 2 hour prospecting session typically?
Well, and that's one thing I've run into in this program. A contact is actually talking to the person that owns the home, right?
That's right.
I haven't got that to where I need it to be. I'm still only maybe 4 contacts an hour. I'm making a lot of calls. I'm making a lot of repeat calls, but I'm still, my contacts are lower than it should be right now. It's only about 4 an hour.
Got it. And again, it's because
Yeah,
primarily you're just going after expired listings, right? You're
right.
not really
Yeah,
working any other lead pillars right now, right?
that's right. And a lot of these expireds, I'm calling them multiple times. So if I didn't get them on Monday, there's a good chance I won't get them on Tuesday also. But I just keep calling.
Yeah. So you brought up something a minute ago, Jody, I want to come back to, which is most agents try to, when they start prospecting, they obviously are going after the appointment on that first contact, which is phenomenal. The challenges with that is a certain segment of the marketplace just isn't ready to meet on that very first conversation, which would require an agent to build a pipeline and then
Right.
to follow up with that pipeline. So how is that contributing to your business this year? In other words, how much of your business is coming from, or how many appointments are coming from talking to somebody once versus now you're starting to build a pipeline and you're getting appointments from that pipeline over time?
It's growing. I don't have the numbers on it, and we're still early too because I'm only 2.5 months into the program. But I mean, compared to last year, I've had 25 closings this year already,
Sure.
and probably this time last year was probably maybe around 15. So whether that 10 more came from that, I'm not sure, but I know there's an increase in the people that I'm working with in the pipeline to have me come over and getting those appointments.
Yeah. Because in the past, it was just whatever you got from the day's prospecting was what you got, right? If you
Right.
talk to 10 people, if you got an appointment from those 10 people, great. But if not, the next day you started all over again. You never built that accumulation of prospects in a pipeline. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So if we go just another layer deep, when we talk about, okay, the conversation, we talk about the skill set. So it's one thing to just make the calls and make the contacts. It's another thing to actually have a skill set that would allow you to have the prospect invite you over to their home to interview, to list the house. Can you talk to us about some of the sales skills that you've learned that's helping you get better over the phone?
Yeah, and I think, and this is something I've been prospecting for 10 years now. So this isn't something I've just learned in the last 2 months. Now, some skills I've picked up in the last 2 months, but a lot of the skills I've had, it takes time to
That's
build
right.
those, and I've progressively got to where I am now. And so I think if there is a skill that I'm very good at that's helped me more than anything, especially in this program, is listening. And your scripts allow for more asking more questions and listening to what they're saying. And I'm picking up on just their tonality and everything. I can almost tell by the way they sound, their motivation, and whether it's a good lead or not. Just sometime from the tonality, way they sound, what they're saying. I think listening has been one of the greatest skills, and just being able to, I watch you, and when you're prospecting, you're kind of building a conversation. It's not just an interrogation. You're actually talking to these people, and I think that's a skill I've kind of acquired too. That sometimes we can create a conversation that leads to an appointment, or maybe it's not the right time. We keep it as a lead, but that I think that's listening and then being able to communicate that way has really helped me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, that has led you to going on more listing appointments. How many listing appointments will you go on in a given month on average? Do you go on an appointment pretty much every day?
I do. Yeah, I think my average is somewhere around 28 a month.
Yeah. So 28 listing appointments a month. I know a few minutes ago you said one of the things you've been working on is getting better at the listing presentation because
Right.
in the past you weren't winning the business that you think you should have. What are maybe some of the changes that you've made to the listing presentation or that you're still working on changing that has made that presentation better for you?
The way you have the presentation where I'm presenting three things up front of what we hope to accomplish, I wasn't doing that. I was pretty much saying, this is what I can do. I'd love to help you, and sign here and get out the door. So now I'm able to present things to them. Actually, I believe it's things that even if they don't list with me that day, even if they go with somebody else, it's things, price bracketing or whatever it may be, that it's going to help them sell their home. And so that's what I've liked about this is just having it laid out to where it's things that will help them. If I'm the right agent, that's great. If not, then they still have something to take with them at the end of the listing presentation.
Yeah. So, you just have more of a
Yeah.
structure, right?
Right.
So
That's right.
where you're right. I mean, a lot of people go on these meetings and they wing it, right, Jody? They just kind of wing
That's
it
right.
based on their experience. And now you're just learning more of a structure, which will allow you to articulate your value proposition in a manner that is more clear. So
Yes.
that you become that obvious choice where the seller says, wow, Jody, you've demonstrated your value and it's easier for you to win business. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So as you kind of look forward ahead over the next couple of years, what are some of the things that you think that you're not only just looking to accomplish, but that you need to put in place that will help your business to continue to grow?
Past clients are going to be a new area that I'm going to go strongly into, a new pillar to go toward on building my business. And because my past client follow up's been very low. So I need to
Sure.
get on a schedule. I love the interview you had, I think last week. It was with an agent that just uses past clients. And so that's going to be something that's going to be stronger. Of course, getting the listing presentation better is going to help also. And just that pipeline that I'm building that's going to be so valuable in the next few years as I go along. And even Sisu and some of the Vulcan 7 stuff, I wasn't using that. I was
Sure.
just putting it on a legal pad. So now I've got some things, what do you got, CRM, basically, to where I'm going to have that in the future if I need to go back to it and find a client.
Yeah, I love it. We're just
Yeah.
organizing the business and becoming
Right.
more efficient. Yeah, I love it.
Yes. Yes.
I guess the last one for me, Jody, is there's a lot of agents that are in this business that still haven't sold a house yet this year. In fact, 50% of all licensed agents didn't sell a house last year, not one. And I think a lot of it is because they don't do any proactive prospecting. Do you believe that there's a world where you could be selling 100 houses a year and not have to prospect? In other words, is there some type of other passive marketing thing that you know of that would produce the results that you're getting? Or do you just believe 100% you have to go out there and proactively generate conversations?
100%. I think maybe I get 10, 15% a year from people just calling, passive business. I mean, there's no way to build a business like this without every day consistently and in a good way prospecting.
Yeah. What do you think holds agents back from doing that? Because I think most would agree with you, but what do you think really holds them back from reaching their full potential and going out there every day and generating the business?
I think it's belief. But believe in it. You got to believe in the scripts. You got to believe that when you get on that phone, there's somebody out there that wants to do business with you. Because sometimes when you get, you prospect for an hour, nothing happens, you kind of lose that belief a little bit. I think the belief, once I build the belief that if I can come in every day, I do the system where I put the X marks on the calendar every day. I've only missed maybe 4 days all year, but just the belief that I'm making $2,000 or $3,000 a day every day I prospect, and having the belief to just come in and do it each day is what I think is most important.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Jody, listen, I could tell you, I mean, I love working with agents such as yourself who are so coachable, right? I mean, and willing to learn and willing to execute what you've learned. So thank you for jumping on the podcast and giving back.
Thank you, Brandon.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks. See you.